Day 22. Or are we on 23? Day 22. Let me make sure I got this right. Yeah, day 22 of Bible reading. This is Exodus 13 through 15. Let me see. Okay. Chapter 13. God does this. Okay. Chapter 13, God again goes through this leavening thing. You can't eat or I think this might have been Moses telling the people, but it's about the leaven. Like, okay, we get the leaven. We're not supposed to eat leaven for 7 days or have anything leavened in our house. We're supposed to clear all our house of all leavening or anything that has been leavened. And not eat it, not partake of it. I mean, what's God going to do if you don't? Is he going to kill you? Is he going to kill your firstborn? What's he going to do? Anyways, so now here's chapter 13, verse 2 in Exodus. It says, consecrate to me every firstborn that opens the womb among the Israelites, both of man and beast, for it belongs to me. Okay, I'm thinking consecrate means like, I guess I should have looked that up. I don't know what that means. But I would hope it doesn't mean kill, because I would hope and this God that's already proven himself a jerk wouldn't say kill your firstborn. Okay, anyways. But it doesn't say firstborn son. It says the firstborn that opens the womb. Okay, so again, this gets me to be thinking that even though I was taught that this was the firstborn sons that, that they were killed in Egypt as one of the plagues, I'm thinking maybe I was told wrong. At least according to scripture. So then, of course, after that, like I said, he goes back into the leavening thing and 7 days not eating anything leavened. I have no idea what the leavening has to do with anything. But it says that now finally in chapter 13, verse 12, now it comes in with the first male born, okay, to a woman. And it says, so I'm thinking this isn't just every household, because it says that just like the verse in verse 2, it says, you shall dedicate to the Lord every son that opens the womb. Opens the womb. It doesn't say every firstborn male son in the household. Because remember, these two-bit whores back then, they like to have multiple wives and girlfriends. So I'm guessing it's every wife and every girlfriend, their firstborn son. But it does say, all the male firstborn shall belong to the Lord. I still don't even know what that means. Like, what does it mean to belong to the Lord? Especially in the Old Testament. Like the New Testament, you would think, well, maybe that means they're saved. Or like now, if we say it now, not the New Testament, but if we say it now, we belong to the Lord, you think, oh, well, means to be saved, or it could mean I'm giving my service to the Lord as being a reverend or a missionary or Sunday school teacher or whatever, something to do with the church and religion. But what does it mean back then? I have no idea. It also talks about the firstborn of all the animals should be killed. I think it means specifically during Passover. Which I think is like, it's hard. It was hard enough back then and then it brings up the question. Okay, first thing, it was hard. Like, what if you're going to starve to death? Like, what if that's all the cattle or the livestock you have is the parents and the, the firstborn son, or, what if the son's, the male is the only offspring that the animals had yet had, and you'll die, starve to death if you kill it. What if you had, like, the female cow, but you mated the female cow with your neighbor's male cow, then would that offspring be counted as one of your, firstborn males? And she had a son, the first one. Well, yeah, it's a firstborn male. Okay, then would that be considered your firstborn, even though the father, the bull was the neighbor's? Would that be considered? I don't know. And then what if the firstborn male of that breeding pair dies? Like dies in birth, or dies in utero, or dies somewhere along the way from something, hoof and mouth disease. I don't know. So then what do you do? I don't know. A lot of questions comes out. And anyways, it says that you're supposed to sacrifice these animals. So now it says, when Pharaoh let in verse 17 of chapter 13, it says, now when Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them by the way of the Philistines' land, though it was the nearest, for he thought should the people see that they would have to fight, they might change their mind and return to Egypt. Instead, he rerouted them toward the Red Sea by way of the desert road. Okay. These people are walking, they got their children, they got their livestock. Really? You're going to make them take the long route. Now it does say that Moses took Joe's bones along to be buried when they get into their new land, I guess. This was one interesting thing that I never, if I did notice it, I had forgotten it. The Lord, it says in verse 21, the Lord preceded them in the daytime by means of a column of cloud to show them the way, and at night by means of a column of fire to give them light. Thus they could travel both day and night. When do they sleep? Neither the column of cloud by day nor the column of fire by night ever left its place in front of the people. I don't remember that. So now we're in chapter 14. Of course, here we go with God playing with Pharaoh's mind again. He hardens Pharaoh's heart, and Pharaoh gets all his army together and chariots and slaves and whatever, and runs after the Israelites to pursue them, chase them, bring them back. I think actually it says there was an indication here that they were going to kill him. That they were going to kill Moses and like probably all the men, because I guess this was some slutty thing the men did in the Old Testament. They would kill off the men and the women, the older women, I guess, and the livestock, and then take the young females and sometimes the children, and then take the females to rape them, be their sex slaves, and the children to raise up as their own. And it does give some indication in there that that's what they were going to do. And I don't see it right now that I don't see right now where I saw that. Anyway, so when the Israelites saw the Egyptians coming after them, they cried and they said, listen, look what you did. Why didn't you just leave it? We told you we didn't want to come here. Why didn't you just leave us there and we'd be slaves to the Egyptians? And so God told Moses, raise up your hand. This was where there was the parting of the water. And the Israelites got across safely. The Egyptians. Now, here was an interesting thing that if, like I said, this was another thing. Maybe I was told and I just forgot it, but I don't remember this. But it said first, as the Egyptians were coming after the Israelites, that the Lord clogged their chariot wheels that they could hardly drive. With that, the Egyptians sounded the retreat before Israel because the Lord was fighting for them against the Egyptians. Then the Lord said, okay, so here we go. Pharaoh says retreat. Everybody's retreating. And this jerkaholic of a God says, you know what? I'm going to drown them. Moses, spread your hand over the water. And I drowned him. And he drowned him. Okay, Pharaoh was leaving. And this got me thinking, like, these men, it's pretty much only men in the Egyptian, this running after the Israelites. The women had to stay home and take care of the kids, and if there were babies, they had to nurse them so they wouldn't die. So the women stay home. So all these men die. What's going to happen to the Egyptian women? And Pharaoh, and God's the one playing Pharaoh's mind. It's not Pharaoh making these decisions God's the one hardening Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh at first would say, you know what, go ahead, go do your sacrifices, whatever. Then God would harden Pharaoh's heart. And this is the same thing that happened here. It said God hardened Pharaoh's heart and sent him after the Israelites. And then God kills all the men. So then what are the women supposed to do? They got kids to take care of. So they're supposed to do they're supposed to take care of the kids, nurse the babies, do the diaper changes, keep the house clean, do all the cooking, cleaning, child care. And now they got to find a way to get food and pay the bills and the taxes and stuff. Really? That's a jerk of a God. Okay, this is another reason, like, if you believe in God, he's a jerk. Anyway, so chapter 15 mostly is a song that the Israelites sang after God genocided the Egyptians. And interesting, chapter 15, verse 20, it talks about the prophetess Miriam, who was Aaron's and Moses' sister. This is the first time where a woman has had, as far as I can remember, this is the first time that a woman with some type of title was ever mentioned in the Bible. Where she was more than just a sex slave to a man, or barter for her father. Well, anyways, it says she led the song that was mentioned earlier. Let's see. Okay, there was one thing in here that I wanted to note. Making rules. Okay, it was here that the Lord, now this is chapter 15, verse 25. It was here that the Lord, in making rules and regulations for them, put them to the test. If you really listen to the voice of the Lord your God, and do what is right in his eyes, if you heed all his commandments, there was no commandments yet given in the Bible. So this must have been something that was left out. And keep all his precepts. I will not afflict you with any of diseases with which I afflicted the Egyptians, for I, the Lord, am your healer. What is it, like the 7? Is he talking about the 7 plagues or something that wasn't included in the Bible? I don't know. But what were the commandments so far? I mean, the only thing really he said was the Passover thing about consecrating the firstborn son, giving him to the Lord, whatever that meant. And not eating the leaven for 7 days. and sacrificing the firstborn of all your livestock. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember any other commandments as of given yet. And that's it. Close curtain. Now today is January 22nd of 2021. 2 days after the... Or is it the 20th? I keep getting confused what day it is. Yeah, 22nd. I just did that a minute ago, didn't I? And we still have no insurrections again, no riots that I know of. I haven't heard anything. If they were just a couple of people beating each other up. So this big wheelie-dealy-do that the white supremacist nut jobs or wackadoos are supposed to do has not come to fruition. So I think we're going to be good. Biden already, I was just reading it this morning. What did he do? He repealed the act that Trump had instilled about educating kids about white supremacy and saying that Martin Luther King's fight for equality was actually class, what was it? I think it was basically just black people warfare or something. It was something to that effect. So Biden's already doing a couple things. He took some racist crap out of the White House that Trump had left. And I think we're going to go, I think things just so happened in a way where everybody knows something needs to be done. Even the white supremacists are just scared of losing they want their supremacy. They want to keep it. They know it's wrong, but most of them are losers in life. They live at home with their parents, or they work low-wage jobs and live with their parents. And most likely their mom, because their dad would say enough of this nonsense and kick them out. Just a bunch of losers. And they blame their loserhood. This is the only thing they can stand for now. This is the only thing they can do is take a stand on what does make them different, and that's their whiteness. Because they have nothing to show for themselves. So the only reason they're doing, I'm kind of babbling on and going in 12 different directions, but the only reason this insurrection even happened, what other people are calling an insurrection, I mean, it looked like a bunch of dodos to me. I mean, I watched online, I watched the videos that they had made of themselves, in the Capitol building, and they just sounded like a bunch of teenagers just, discovering their mom's playgirl. I mean, they sounded like a bunch of wackadoos. Just, a couple who were a bunch of people let out of the loony bin, or they were, they sounded like a bunch of teenagers. While they were talking, I mean, this wasn't like grown-up stuff. This was juvenile stuff. So anyways, they're just afraid of losing their white power. And they're going to lose their white power, and it's going to come naturally anyways. It's sad that it has to come naturally. We should have been beyond this. But it's estimated that in about 3 generations there will be no more white people, because we're marrying the new generation, because the younger generations, even my generation, we started not seeing color differences, or this crap that we were fed about. There are cultural differences between people of color and white people. It's to the extent that you could never have a healthy marriage, and your children will be ostracized by society. my generation started seeing that as just nonsense, right? We were okay with admitting that we found people of color, well, people of a different race attractive, and we didn't have any problem mating with them. Yeah, there were some holdbacks in my time. I had somebody that I used to consider a friend that I recently found out was a bigot, and so I just cut all ties with him. Anyways, but this generation now, I mean, because and the reason this is happening is because we have more access to travel, to go beyond our borders. We've got automobiles, planes, trains, boats, and now we had television that was showing us different cultures, different skin tones, different religions. Now we have the internet where we can communicate with people in other countries. We have unlimited access all around to, different newspapers and such, where we can read about what's going on in different areas and we realize that the struggles are all the same, to try to make sure that, that everybody has access to living to their full potential, and everybody wanting to live to their full potential, and us recognizing that there really isn't. Yeah, there's some differences. There's more difference between me and somebody from Canada than me and some Muslim who's lived here their whole life, right? Because Canada has single payer health care. Canada, their conservatives are equivalent to our liberals, right? I mean, they're very anti-gun, anti-arming yourself for protection. They're not like that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but culturally, like, people who have been born here, raised here, lived here their whole life, no matter what they look like or what religion they practice, they're more culturally adapted to where the United States than somebody from Canada or somebody from Europe. Even though they may look the same skin tone as me, they may be an atheist. Because they were raised where their government is set up differently, and the government shapes the ideology of the people. Like, people coming from Canada, they'll be like, how the heck do you go to the hospital, when you don't have health insurance? And you gotta tell them you just don't. And that to them would just blow their mind. What? You're sick and you can't go to the hospital? Or to the doctor? I think it's hard for them to wrap their head around. And like garage sales, I have a former friend who lived in Poland. When I explained to her I asked her if she had garage sale, if there was such thing as garage sales in Poland, and she just, it blew her mind. Like, she could not understand the concept of garage sales because they don't have garage sales there. And she just thought she would not like it because it would probably be some dumpy thing. She's thinking a whole street full of garage sales, which that's not how it happens, but yeah, she just couldn't wrap her head around garage sales, and she was just so, that's got to be awful, people just being able to put their stuff out on their front lawn and sell stuff. And, to her it was just some obscure concept. So anyways, I don't know why I went off on this. Oh, my bottom line is that it's coming anyways, because like I said, it's estimated in about 3 generations we'll all be brown because of our mating habits and our openness to mating with people who look differently than us. And even realizing, even though there might be a cultural difference, how bad is a cultural difference going to be to where you couldn't, sort things out? So anyways, yeah, but I was raised Baptist, you know, we were taught, oh, people of color, they are so culturally different. That's why you can't, you know, and your marriage would never work and religiously. And if they were raised in the United States, there's no cultural difference. There is a difference in like how they're treated by other people, they're treated by police, they're treated in the real estate realm, in the mortgage realm, in the loan realm. Yes, but that's white people's doing. You know, but that's all it is. And everybody, you know, I could start hanging out with some white dude, but he was raised, let's say he was raised Unitarian, and they drank and they smoked and they played cards. Well, I was raised completely different. That's more of a cultural difference than, but I mean, everybody's so culturally different than me because I was raised in a household we didn't swear. We weren't allowed to swear. We weren't allowed to, you know, there was no drinking, no smoking, no card playing. You know, it was just very straight-laced. We didn't, you know, we didn't joke about sex. We didn't, you know, watch rated R movies or anything. So, I mean, the cultural difference from people here is way great, no matter who I'm talking to, because, you know, we were raised in a strict sense and not. So, anyways, I'm just going off on a tangent now. I'm going to end this here. Oh, this is my voodoo kits. I'm making voodoo kits now. Here's my little doggy. Little doggy, I don't remember where I got that. I must have gotten that at a garage sale. But these voodoo kits are unique. Each one's going to look differently on the outside and the inside. This one's a gardener kit. It comes with a voodoo doll and a bunch of relics. I can make a voodoo doll kit for you specifically, or I can, you know, you can customize it, or you can just order one and I'll make one on the fly, even if you have no specifications other than you just want a kit. But it has a lot of good luck charms in there and voodoo doll. Okay, talk to you later.